5 News This Morning starts now.
Severe storms caused damage to the only hospital in Sallisaw. Coming up, we'll have the latest details as crews look to begin clearing debris.
And a live look outside across the region this morning, noticing some hanging fog from some of that leftover moisture. We'll talk about one last day of rain today and much quieter conditions coming up.
Plus, a large grant is given to the University of Arkansas and is opening up space for parents to be able to take care of their kids on campus while studying at the same time.
A live look outside in Fort Smith this morning here at 6:30. Good morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us. We're already September the 24th, the next holiday, Halloween.
I know,
Coming
October,
up.
So I feel like we just got to September.
Yeah.
And it looks kind of spooky out there with the fog.
Yeah, it does. And we're going to talk about this in today's Daily Brew on 5 News This Morning Plus. But did you know one of the best Halloween costumes are making the top of the list? Happy Gilmore. Who knew? Yeah, are you surprised?
I'm a little surprised. I mean, I know it was very popular for like my older brother's about 5 years old, very popular for his age, kind of the late millennials, but I'm surprised kind of this year. But I guess, it's been 20 years.
The remake is what I
I'm
guess is
curious what this Happy Gilmore costume looks like. Is it not just Adam Sandler?
It's probably a Boston Bruins jersey and a backwards hat,
Yeah,
I guess.
for sure.
But anyway, we'll talk about what's going on here across the region. We are seeing some scattered showers here. Now you've got me thinking, Joe, am I going to be boring if I pick that? Well, we'll see. Anyway, we are seeing some scattered showers, or very spotty showers, I should say, across the region. We're seeing a little bit of that in the northwest Arkansas. You can see into Madison and Carroll County. But that's all we're going to see this morning is very spotty, very light showers, almost like a drizzle in some spots. Nothing like we saw yesterday. A little bit of a better chance, I think, will arrive later today. But with a lot of that leftover moisture from the rainfall, we're seeing quite a bit of some dense fog, especially along I-49 in northwest Arkansas. So again, and nearly really anywhere you are, we are seeing some of that dense fog in some spots. So if you're heading out the door, just be mindful of that fog. Also, if you're heading off to the bus stop, again, it's cloudy and foggy, maybe a little bit of a drizzle, temperature of around 70. And we'll stay in the 70s for much of the day today, especially in northwest Arkansas with some spotty showers during the afternoon. A little bit of a better chance mid to late afternoon, especially north of I-40. So we'll have that rain chance for today, but again, nothing expected to be severe. It'll just be scattered showers, maybe a few rumbles of thunder. Some cooler temps are on the way starting today, and then after today, it is looking a lot quieter and very seasonal for this time of year. So we'll talk more about that here coming up in your full forecast. For now, I'll take a live look at traffic on this Wednesday morning. Got ahead of myself. A live look along I-49 at Bellevue Road near the Rogers area. Good morning to you there. Again, a little bit of a misty look out there. Again, much of the fog is elevated, but in any low-lying areas could see it pretty dense at times. So just be careful heading out the door this morning. With the full forecast coming up in about 15 minutes. Joe and Emily.
All right, thanks, Danny. He's trying to make us celebrate a Friday Eve there. Not quite yet. All right, lots of cleanup underway after Tuesday's storm ripped a hospital's roof off in Sallisaw, Oklahoma. This is the aerial footage there of Northeastern Health System where some patients had to be evacuated. Thankfully, no one was injured. Now, the latest update from the hospital this morning says their inpatient services have been impacted, but their ER, lab, and radiology are up and running again. Well, this morning, crews will be there on site cleaning up debris.
That's where we find 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi live. Jacob, what's the latest there this morning?
Yeah, good morning, Emily. Good morning, Joe. So yesterday, it's good news to hear, right, about that emergency room operations ongoing, because yesterday we know that the city manager said that that they were on a divert status, meaning that they weren't accepting new ambulance patients. But that, again, that's good news because, again, those parts of the hospital were affected. But go ahead and look at what we're seeing right here at this hospital. As you can tell, kind of what this storm really did to this building, right? Go ahead and swept through this area and really just has debris lining up this entire street here. The street is closed off because, again, of all the debris that is here. And again, this is the Northeastern Health System Hospital, the only hospital here in Sallisaw. No injuries, again, have been reported. All patients were able to get safely transferred or discharged. Power outages yesterday peaked around 4,000 customers yesterday, but just before this live shot, I checked, only one outage remained in Sequoyah County. That was over 18,000 customers tracked. City crews worked through the night to clear debris and restore the power. Down trees and power lines blocked several roads, but crews made progress and plan to continue that today. Tom Foote with the Red Cross says he lives in the area. He describes the scene that he experienced.
Shaking everything. And it was raining. I mean, you couldn't see very far because of the tremendous rain and the thunder and the lightning. It was just shaking everything. And had not known about Sallisaw yet, and then I started seeing reports, and I got on Facebook and then started seeing everything, and that's when I changed clothes and decided I better get out here.
Now, I don't know if you can tell, but we have this like slight mist, almost not even fully rain yet, but this slight mist coming down. I know that a lot of crews are really hoping that this stays away today so that they can really pick up where they left off yesterday and trying to, whether that's cutting down trees, whether that's moving, like I said, this metal off of these areas. I know that this rain can hamper efforts, but they're really hoping that the sun stays shining today so that they're able to get that work done. We also know that the Red Cross will be out and about today, assessing damage, looking at homes that may have suffered damage from yesterday's storms. But I'll go ahead and send it back to you.
All right, thanks, Jacob. This is a live look out now at the roads that are still listed as impassable this morning in Benton County. Most are very rural areas, but there are a few outside of Highfield that could impact your commute this morning, like Mill Dam Road or Colonel Myers.
Well, now we're taking a look at some of the photos of flooding and storm damage from you, our 5 News viewer. This one from Justin Smith out of Sallisaw, an uprooted tree there. Also in Avoca, Sydney Weeks sending this in of a flooded road. A lot of damage across the area in that rural part of Oklahoma. Now we want to see your photos, 479-785-5000. Just text them to us. We'll show them right here on 5 News this morning. Well, in continuing coverage, an Arkansas State Legislative Committee discussed the latest report and new findings into the escape of inmate Grant Harden. State police released a 900-page report on the investigation. Investigators said a staff meeting was held prior to the escape to reverse the North Central Unit's policy of letting inmates on the back dock unsupervised. But they said that 3 supervisors who attended the meeting indicated that the policy change was not relayed to them. ASP's Mike McNeil says there is confusion about whether the verbal directive was properly said to the kitchen supervisors.
But the investigation shows that the verbal directive, if it was given approximately a month prior to the escape.
He says the administration did not take action to formally change the policy for inmate supervision on the back dock, though food prep supervisor Justin Duvally and Corporal William Walker were fired after reportedly violating policy, which they say led to Harden's escape.
New this morning, the University of Arkansas has launched an initiative to help non-traditional students with a new study room that they can feel comfortable bringing their kids to. I spoke with the university about the new space, which they say has already made an impact.
You have a safe space where you're working, but you know that they're fine. You don't have to watch every second.
At the University of Arkansas, the new meeting study space is open, allowing students and staff with families to continue their education with peace of mind. Megan York is the education librarian and says she knows firsthand how helpful a room like this can be.
I have a toddler, and it can just be really hard to corral them in general, and then having a space separate to keep them, because you can't hear outside of this room and they can't really hear you in here. So it kind of keeps this safe space where you feel like you aren't bothering people, because sometimes you feel like you are.
The funding from the Schmeeding Family and Women's Giving Circle allows library staff to keep the space filled with toys for different ages and necessary items for parents too. York says as the university's non-traditional student base continues to grow, it's important to accommodate their unique needs.
At any rate, they're kind of the future of Arkansas, right? I know we tend to say that about teenagers, but really everybody that's deciding to go back into the workforce is the future of Arkansas.
With this unique space, she hopes everyone can feel more at home while following their dreams at school.
A lot of people think of libraries as a third space, so this safe space outside of their work or home life. And so I think being able to extend that to people that also have children, or maybe they're just caregivers, they could come in here too, is giving them that spot on campus where you feel like it's for you. And I think everybody likes to be seen in the spaces that are around campus.
The room is open during normal hours, but they do stop by and check to make sure it's being used by families. After hours, parents can stop by the front desk for access to the room as well.
Well, this morning, President Trump is back at the White House after making headlines at the United Nations. In his speech to world leaders on Tuesday, the president touted American might, criticized the UN, and questioned climate change. He also made a potentially game-changing shift on Russia's war in Ukraine. He posted on Truth Social saying he thinks Ukraine is in a position to win all of its land back in its original form, with support from the European Union. The comments following a meeting with Ukraine's president were a significant reversal after the many times the president argued Russia will likely get to keep territory that it seized over the past 3.5 years.
We expect America's actions to push Russia toward peace. Moscow fears America and always pays attention to it.
Of illegal aliens.
The president also calling on European countries to stop buying Russian oil, an effort to end the conflict that he told leaders he thought resolving would be the easiest.
Donald Trump survived 2 attempts on his life as he ran for re-election last year. Ryan Routh, the man who stalked him at a Florida golf course, has now been convicted for 1 attempted assassination charge. During the trial, Routh, who represented himself without a lawyer, said he never pulled the trigger of the gun, so he hadn't actually committed a crime. The jury deliberated for about 2.5 hours Tuesday before the 5 guilty verdicts. Routh is set to be sentenced in December. He faces life in prison.